What else will happen is the player will begin to rise up the further the ball gets to them. This is where a lot of these flares off to the right side are going to happen. They're not going to have much power because it's like you're on top of the ball. You'll also get ground balls to the left side there. So what I encourage y'all doing is tossing the ball more from over here, and I'm about to move that, but I want you to see it from this angle, what the difference is. So before it was right here and I had to rise up a little bit to hit this ball. Now I've got a clear view of that 9 spot, which is the outside part of the ball. Okay, so I've got a clear shot towards my wind chime. I can see my wind chime out in left center, and I'm going to go ahead and aim for it. Oh man, that was pretty good. But most players, again, kind of start squared up to the plate, and this sets them up for hitting the ball up the middle. So if you can just imagine golf, where we'd have the ball on a tee or something, and we're pulling it back and hitting that ball right up the middle. Like, if I were wanting to hit the ball to left center field instead, like, I would turn my body over that way and line myself up to make that swing that way. Okay, but now we gotta understand that we're trying to hit a moving pitch, right? So it's not like we can just keep our body aimed like this, but what you can do instead of squaring up is just angle your feet. This alone will help you pull the ball. Just that alone, right there. Setting your feet up in a position to line your body up to hit that way. Watch how my head turns and stays in line with my spine. That is what's going to help my head stay still. Most players are looking upright, which drives their body upright. If you can keep your body and your head tilted, you don't have to start with it right there, but I mean, it's not a bad idea. If you're thinking about hitting the ball that way, just put your body in the line to actually tell your swing to go that way. And then as you see this pitch come in, this low inside one, get to it and swing through. Keeping your eyes forward. As if you never let that ball come anywhere near you. You hit it out front, like 4 feet out in front of your eyeballs, because that's how far you can reach the sweet spot. Literally launched it with a full, straight-on, most powerful swing you could.
Yeah. Get going. Get going. Yeah.
That was awesome. I'll tell them to do a dry swing and hit the ball to left center field. So they'll look over at left center field and then they'll look down like this. Like, there's no possible way that I'm going to get the ball over there if I'm looking at it right here. The best I might get is like a little chopper through the infield if I'm lucky, right? Like, that's not what we're going for. It's like, I need them to imagine that this ball is actually coming from the pitcher, coming from right there. And keep your eyes out in front, and it's like you're trying to whip the barrel to where the front of your eyes are. Like, take the barrel to where you're looking versus taking the eyes to the barrel. Like, we're not just trying to hit the ball up the middle. There's 4 people waiting right here with the glove on for your up the middle hit. And if you stay inside of it and you hit pitches where the pitcher pitches it, like, you got to know the defense knows where the pitcher's going to throw it. So if they're throwing an outside pitch and you're trying to hit that outside pitch this way, all of these players already know where you're trying to hit it.
So I want you to start to maybe aim for different gaps. Like instead of thinking about staying inside the ball or swinging a specific way, try to aim for the bottom outside half of the ball and try to hit it here. This right here is your number one hardest hit that you can have as a right-handed hitter. And this is your green zone, okay? Green zone side of the field is going to be everything that's over here on your left side that stays fair and is hit hard. This is going to be more yellow-green zone, but we'll talk about that in a second. So if you get an inside pitch, a high pitch, anything that you can really hit the outside part of, you're going to try to hit that ball right down the line. And all because you're aiming for this specific hole, even if it's an outside pitch, like you're still going to try to hit it here, but the outside pitch is harder to hit the very far outside part of. So what ends up happening is because the ball continues to move at you as you hit it, you're just going to hit a little bit on the outside half of the ball, and that's going to take that ball to left center field for your outside pitch strongest hit. This is earliest on-time attack, okay? Now the cool thing about this is your late hits are going to go an L shape away. So it's a little big here, but basically when you point to left field and you're trying to hit your hit over here and you're a little bit late, you end up catching it and sending it the other way. So for everybody who likes to hit those right center gaps, that's great because this is still your number 2 strongest hit here, okay? And it comes an L shape away from your on-time attack for these inside pitches, high pitches that you can really hit over here. And if you're a little bit late, it's going to flare off over to the right side. All right, there's your L shape away. If you get your outside pitch and you're a little bit late, well, your L shape away ends up being right field line, which is another great gap to hit to. A little longer. Over to the yellow side. And this is your number 2 strongest hit for your outside pitches, okay? So all because you're aiming for this hole right here, you're going to get these 4 gaps if you are really committing to this hit right here, all right? Now, what if a player doesn't rotate or they don't give themselves enough time to get that bat all the way out in front to go get that green zone shot? But what if they're still hitting it over here? Why? Or what's the next possible hit? So if you're late here, out in front, you're late here, and you end up letting it come to you and you roll over the pitch and you're still trying to hit that line, what ends up happening is you usually hit the hard ground ball or low line drive right through that 5-6 hole gap between the shortstop and the third baseman. All right? And if you get your outside pitch and you don't rotate and you go and reach and roll over it, you're likely going to hit that ball. Hopefully it goes between the pitcher and the shortstop, but I mean, the older you get, the better these players are. Like these are hard hits to get the higher levels that you play, but they're still there. Like you hit the ball hard enough, like with an attack swing versus a sit back and I accidentally let it get too deep under me, like those are easy outs. The hard hit ground balls are like line drive, one hop shots, 2 hops maybe to get it through that infield, all right? And so these are the 2 hits that will come, and actually you'll also push some off to this side, being a little bit late to your yellow zone, and you'll be lucky if you get this one through on that second base side the older that you get, all right? Because these second basemen, they got range, all right? So do shortstops, so do third basemen. So you're really trying to get it up and over the third baseman. So when you aim for this, like you got to understand that you need to set your feet up properly so that you can hit the ball hard. So we're going to take this and make it bigger. I think what people are most used to is the ball being on the plate. Like a lot of people start in T-ball. They're taught to stand like right next to the plate, face the plate, stick their arms straight out, and it's like the handle of their bat is what's touching the ball. And this is not usually corrected, which is why you get a lot of ground ball outs right back to the pitcher in T-ball. Now, since we're not in T-ball, let's pick up that tee or even the idea of where the ball is and move it out front. Because if you're trying to hit the ball to this side of the field, you need to think about which side of the ball you want to hit. So let me draw that. You got your 1 and 2. 1, your 2, and I'm going to say the 4 for right-handed hitters is going to be your red-yellow zone, okay? 4 is more pretty good yellow sometimes. All right, sometimes you're going to squeeze this one in a flare over this side. But your 1, 2 is red. If you're hitting the 1 and 2, you're hitting it back to the pitcher or to the right side of the field on the ground or low line drive. It doesn't matter. Like, these are your late hits. This is the last part of the ball that you can hit. So your 3, your 5, your 7, these are all pretty good shots too. Like this 3 is going to lead over to these hits a lot of times. Your 5 is going to lead to line drive shots somewhere here in the gap. Maybe it's here. Maybe it's right back to the pitcher. Your 7 is where you're going to really slice that inside out part and hopefully really get it out here, because the bottom of the ball is what makes the ball go up. All right. You don't have to swing down or up through it. I mean, I choose to swing up through the bottom to hit it farther. But like if it's a high pitch, like I'm kind of coming down at it. So it all depends on where the pitch is. You have to just learn how to manipulate the ball. So then we've got your 6 and your 8 and 9. That's going to hit the ball over to the left side of the field with a lot of power. Okay, so you got to understand that this is coming in at you, and the first time you can touch it is the 9. The last time you could touch it would be the 1 if you are trying to hit the ball over here. It's like you've got to aim to come through that ball right through there to send it that way. All right, so now how do we turn our feet? Like, how do we step in the box? Because we are pre-thinking what we want to do to the ball. And it's not just based on what the pitcher does. So it's like what I do is not going to change if the pitcher gives me a curveball. Like, I'm not going to step across farther for a curveball. I'm going to set myself up to hit the hardest pitch that there is to take over here. So for me, I'm going to think that's probably a low inside, low outside pitch where I really have to go get this ball. So if I set my feet to aim here, I want to think about, like, instead of aiming like to where my feet are right on the plate, I'm just going to turn my toes so that the side of my feet are what's aiming my hit this way. Almost just like in golf. Like, we just pick our feet up and move to the other side of the ball to hit it to the left side of the fairway. We move our feet this way if we want to hit it right. We don't just like let the ball get deeper or whatever. I mean, we do a little bit, right? If you're using a driver, you push it more out in front. If you're using a club, like a pitching wedge that's got a lot of loft, like you're letting it get deep and you're hitting it straight up. Like, we're not trying to hit it straight up. We're trying to hit line drives, like driver shots way out there. So we push this ball out in front, see the back of it, get a club, right? The flat club is what's going to hit it far. When you get your hands out there, that's like using the driver. When you start to let this ball get in, that's like using your pitching wedge or your 7-iron or something that you're going to cut down on to make go up. All right? So basically, set your feet to make it really easy on yourself. All right? If you get your back foot and start somewhere here in the side of the plate, all right? Somewhere here in the side of the plate. And you tilt your toes towards first base, all right? So we're pointing the feet that way. And if you put your front foot up here, very similarly by the front of the box, you get in that athletic stance, it's like your toes are going to help you go get the ball. Like, this back one is going to help you push to go get it, and this one's going to act like brakes. Like, you're going to have to put the brakes down soon, so then you can decide whether you got to really lock up those brakes and turn hard if it's like high and inside and you got to slow your body down. Like, this can act like a strong brake if that ball's coming in on you hot. Now, if you get your front foot down early, it might act like a soft brake, helping you like still go get the ball way out in front. So if you're going to hit that ball in the green zone, we got to think about the angle, the line that we're creating with our foot, right? So this becomes my battle line right here. The side of how my side of the foot is facing is how my back can face. So your green zone triangle begins where you take your step to. That means anything that you hit out here in this is going that way. All right? And so that's where you're trying to hit your low pitch inside, way out in front. Your high pitches can get a little bit closer to you right here because you can just, it's right by your face. You don't really need to lean forward to go get the bottom of the ball. You just need to hit it before it gets to you. So this would be like your high pitch. And then this would be your outside pitches. Like the higher outside pitch is harder. All right? And we'll just get into that. But basically you want to try to take that high outside pitch this way. It's the only one that you're going to really change your view on the ball is when it comes up. And it's going to kind of go this way. All right? Got a good post on that on Instagram. So check that out. But anyways, so you got your green zone triangle, and if the ball passes this area, it's not going to go this way very hard anymore. All right? Once it passes this area and gets into your yellow zone, this is where you have to start getting crafty with your bat. This is where all of these swing correctly, like let it get deep. This is how you swing right kind of things. Like this is more defensive hitting. This is reactive based on what the pitcher gave you a lot of times. Like a lot of people will let it get deep and wait for a good one. Like those are hitters that hit the ball in this area a lot. They still get some green zone shots, but they don't really think about going to get it way out here before it even has a chance to really move on you. All right? So your outside pitches that get all the way back here, that's where that ball is going to tail off over into that right field line for your second hardest hit for your outside pitches. Your first hardest hit is right out here, right when you're catching the other side of the ball versus the inside of the ball. So one's a slice off, the other is a attack. Like you're putting your weight and your whip all the way through that ball and generating power from the back all the way around it, starting your swing here and pulling it back. Like that is a lot of power to go that way. And the closer the ball gets to you, the slower your swing's going to go, which is kind of like a yellow light, right? Like you're trying to think at a light, do I go? Do I stop? Like it's about to be a red light. Like should I have swung? It doesn't matter if you just continue to try to hit the ball here, your body will start to speed up. Hopefully your front foot gets down by the time that ball's thrown halfway. If your front foot's down by then, that's what I mean by get your front foot down early. Get it down by at least when the ball is halfway, and you will have a very good shot at going to get that ball in the green zone if you let your body move and you learn to stretch. Like you can't just put your foot down, swing. Like the whole reason we're putting our foot down early is so that we can generate power with that back foot. Start turning that crank, turning those shoulders, and really going to find the bottom outside half of that ball to send it over the fence, or, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be over the fence. It can be, and it eventually will be for your players. So, like, a dinger doesn't have to go out of the park for them right now. A dinger is their strongest, hardest attack.